Hope you are all doing well. Today I have a preview of a larger form review that I'd like to do soon. This is a Line 6 Variax JTV-59. So it's basically like a Les Paul single cut style guitar with all the Variax magic in it. So you can see on the back here there's a lot of stuff going on in this guitar. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about it. I've had it for a little while. I've had opportunity to play with it and see what it is. Hey guys, Dragon Ball, Jonathan, Sarah, Tom, Zeller Girl, Trey, what's up everybody? Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm going to try and monitor chat, so if it looks like I'm over here not paying attention, I'll try and interact with you guys as we go. But yeah, I'll just tell you a little bit about this guitar. First of all, so if you're not familiar with what Variax is, it's a modeling guitar. Yeah, Jonathan, yes, it is nice. So it's a modeling guitar. So you can play it just like a regular guitar with, these are just regular magnetic pickups. If you don't know what pickups are made of, there are magnets in them. That's why they're called magnetic pickups. So just regular old pickups. You don't need a battery or anything to use this guitar unless you want to use all the magic that comes in it. And I'll show you what those pickups sound like. So this is just these pickups outputting to my Helix with the Hillsong Nigel Hendroff patch that we have available at Worst Tutorials, with a tube screamer, bridge position. Yes. Still going. You go grab a bite and you come back, it's still going. You can still hear it. Okay, anyway. That's a little bit of Spinal Tap for you. This is the, quote, clean sound. These are high output pickups, so this clean sound isn't so clean. You have to play light, but if you hit it hard, especially on the bridge, I mean, it's still pretty driven. Stitch says, Stitch Sanders, hang on. Which one of you guys said it wasn't quite cool enough to get one? To what, a Variax? I don't know. We may have said it in the past, but this is pretty cool. This guitar is a lot of fun. Okay, so that was just the regular pickups. Now, a lot of people think that you have to use a special cable with special equipment, like you have to use a Helix or Tim, our amps go to 11. And the guy's like, why don't you just make 10 the loudest and make it the loudest? But it's one louder, isn't it? Yes, okay. The Spinal Tap jokes just keep on coming all day long. Yeah, so a lot of people think that to use all the modeling stuff, you have to use Line 6 gear, like a Helix with it or a pod, or you have to have a special cable, but that's not the truth. The modeling stuff comes out just the regular old output too, and it, you know, with whatever you're running it into, whether you run it into like a Vox AC15 or a Blues Junior, something like that, the modeling works with all of that. It all happens right in here, and of course back here. But let me demonstrate. So I don't have any special cable plugged into my Helix. It's just this 1/4-inch output. And you do have to have the battery in, and it has to be, you know, has to be charged. But again, here are the magnetic pickups. And then here's the Telecaster model built into this thing. So it's obviously a single coil sound. Here's a Strat sound. Here's a Les Paul. Here's a Les Paul Special. So you can see just by Gretch, Rickenbacker. So you can hear it's changing depending on what you're on. Semi-hollow, like 335. Jazz box. I don't know what jazz box is. It's like by far the lowest output. I have a chart here that tells me what this is. And I'll show you how you can change all this stuff as well. So jazz box is a Gibson ES 175 Yes, Gibson ES-175. Or a Gibson Super 400, depending on how you have it set up. So a lot warmer sounding guitar with less output. That's what you get. Acoustic guitars, we're going to do that in just a second. I'll show you how acoustics sound. I've gotten them to sound pretty good. And then Resonator, like banjo, sitar. You get all kind of crazy stuff with that. But, you know, let's just... so when you switched, like, I'm on the Telecaster model. I've had a couple questions. How much does it cost? This model is... Oh, you're answering the question, Trey. But somebody asked how much they cost. This model is $1,299 brand new. So, used, I'm sure they're less, but I don't know if these go... If you see these used very often or not. Tim says, can I mute? No, so, okay, so that's part of the... Tim asked if I can mute my mic or my room mic when I play, because I turned the Helix off. You're going to hear this. This guitar is actually pretty loud acoustically. I can't really turn it off. I mean, I'd be messing with stuff the whole time. So that's one of the drawbacks of going live. I've actually never gone live on YouTube before and piped in like my Helix. So we've always either just played it in the room so you heard it, but you're actually hearing the direct output of my Helix in the live video. So yeah, you're gonna hear that, which I don't like that either. So sorry, I apologize. Alex says the JTV-59, which is the Super Strat, like the HSS Strat style, is cheaper. It's $9.99. That makes sense because this is a set neck, glued-in neck. By the way, this neck heel right here is awesome. I wish every guitar I had did this. I mean, it's like super comfortable. You get your hand, if you're playing high on the neck, it's really easy to get there. So most guitars have a lot more wood right here. But this one's the way it's shaped. Just a little bit about the mechanics of the guitar. It's made by Line 6, in partnership with James Tyler. James Tyler is a really high-end guitar manufacturer. So if you bought like a US-made James Tyler guitar, you're gonna run like $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000. This guitar is made in Korea, according to the back. So, but it's really well made as far as like the fretwork, the fit and the finish on it. It feels really nice. It plays really well. I would compare it to like other Korean-made guitars, for example, like a PRS SE guitar. It would fit, it's right up there quality-wise. Who knows, it may be even made in the same factory. This doesn't say what factory it comes out of, but, they might be made by the same people. So it's a great feeling playing guitar. And, just on its own, it's a Les Paul style guitar and it sounds great. Who is that said you can't play worship music with humbuckers? You said humbuckers. Humbuckers. Yes, you can. Everybody does. Not everybody. Lots of people play worship music with humbuckers. You can play it with any guitar that you have. It doesn't matter. Kimberly says, have they changed anything since they came out 5 or 6 years ago? That I don't know, Kimberly. Good question. I know that, they've gone through a lot of revisions of the Variax. The first one was like the 300 and the 500. This thing is way above those as far as quality goes. So, and the sounds, I'm sure, have been upgraded over time. Let's just go through the sounds so you can hear it again. So this is how it works. This is volume and tone. It works just like any volume and tone on a guitar. Eric asked, how does it sound in other pickup positions? That's where we're headed right now. So volume, tone, you can actually make these if you use the Cat 5 or the special cable from Line 6. You can plug it into your Helix or Pod and make it control anything you want. So, I was messing with this earlier and I made the tone control. If you turned it up, it turned the decay of the reverb up, which is really cool. So you can make them do anything you want, really, on any of your stuff inside of a Helix patch. But I'm just going to use it like a regular guitar into a Helix, be running this into an amp or something like that. So volume tone. Then you've got these are both rotary and push. So if you push the top one, it turns the modeling on and off, and then this one will either change parameters of the model that you're on, or change the tuning. And when you change the tuning, good grief, it's like magic. I don't know how they do this, but it sounds so cool. So anyway, let's listen to some of the modeled sounds. So, and by the way, some of these guitars, like, it models a Strat, which is a 5-position guitar, and you only have 3 pickup positions, so you have to go into like the alternate. You have to push this button. I'll show you how you do it. Anyway, this is the Telecaster, the T model. Would be a Telecaster. Bridge. I mean, and that's like Spanks. So the first thing I did when I got this guitar, plugged it in, listened to the regular pickups, then turned on the Telecaster, because Telecaster is my favorite like style guitar. I've always played Teles. I know how they sound, and I thought, this thing sounds like a Telecaster. Really cool. So punchy bridge Tele pickup. This is middle position. Jeff says, is there any latency? No, there's absolutely no latency at all. This is neck position. So now let me look, because I have a chart here. So the alternate model for Tele is a 70, a thin line with the wide range humbuckers. So if you go to the bridge and push this button, it changes. The little light goes, I don't know how, you probably can't see this at all, but there's a little light right here. It'll change from white to blue. So when it's blue, you're in the alternate position. So now it's like a thin line with wide range humbuckers. So this would be standard Tele bridge. Single coil, this is humbucker. Wide range. Yeah, it does it. It's actually the first time I've heard that one, because I haven't used the... That sounds good. And then to compare that, here's the magnetic pickups. So a lot higher output humbucker, basically. Okay, moving on. The next one is Spanks. So this is just going to be Strat. So here's Strat bridge. Sounds like a Strat bridge. Okay, Strat middle. Middle pickup only. And then neck pickup. So if you want those the 2 and the 4 position on a Strat, or where you get the quacky sound, you have to go to the alternate version. So in the bridge pickup, now you're in the 2 position. So it's kind of spanky. There's really one way to test that out. That's to play some U2. So to do this, it needs a little bit more, a little faster tempo. There we go. I mean, that sounds like a Strat. You certainly wouldn't hear that sound coming out of these pickups like a Les Paul style. Anyway, so you've got the 2 position and then the 4 position. Or neck. Super cool. This thing is so much fun. Okay, the next model is the Les Paul Lester, which is Les Paul, which I have been like, I've been jonesing for a Les Paul lately, so this sounds like a Les Paul. With some overdrive from a Timmy. Now if you compare that to the magnetic pickups on this guitar, it doesn't sound much different. Like, these pickups sound like the Les Paul that's in this guitar. The modeled Les Paul feels like it has a little more bite to it. So if you go to the alternate The alternate Les Paul, it is a 50. So this Les Paul when it's white, the standard one is a 1959 Les Paul standard. If you go to the alternate one, it's a 52 Les Paul with P90s. So, for example, bridge position Les Paul standard, Les Paul P90. Doesn't sound a whole lot different. So P90s are going to sound a little more like this, a little more mid-range bite to them probably. Yeah, you can hear it. Yeah, you can hear it. It's like you have a little bit less low end, a little bit less bottom. Isn't that crazy? That's a digital model of a guitar. It sounds like a real guitar. I don't know. Technology is amazing. Okay, so the next one is the Special. So what is the Special? Let's look at my chart. The Special is a 1955 Gibson Les Paul Special. And the alternate one is a Firebird. So, let's go to the bridge. Here's the Les Paul Special. Here's the Firebird. You can definitely hear the difference. And neck. I like that Firebird. It's warm. Gosh, I'm not playing very well today. My fingers aren't working. Okay, next one is one of my favorites on this whole thing. This is the R Billy, which is Gretch. So the standard Gretch, when the light is white, is a like the big hollow body, which they call a 6120, like the Chet Atkins 6120. Then when you go to the alternate positions, you get a jet, a jet with duosonic pickups. So this one, so here's the bridge pickup in the big hollow body Gretch. I mean, that nails that sound to me. Here's neck, middle. Like it's got that real sparkle, chimey, grindy kind of thing. If you put some, like a tube screamer on it, bridge, neck, yeah, that's nice. Okay, let me know too if you're following along. Everything sound okay on your end? Because like I said, this is the first time I've piped my Helix into the live stream. Everything look okay as well. I'm using a different camera than I have a lot in the past. Okay. Now, the alternate model for the Gretch, like I said, is that jet. So it sounds like this. Yeah, I'm not as big a fan of it. It's a lot warmer. So so for example, here's the hollow body Gretch. Here's the jet. They sound a little different. I think I like the hollow body one better. Thanks, guys. Sounds good. Appreciate it. Okay. Next model is Chime. So this is Rickenbacker. Let's see. Let's see, who plays Rickenbacker? The Beatles? Tom Petty? So. She's a good girl. I don't know. I can't say that I know any Beatles songs. I wanna hold your hand. I probably could figure it out. I'll probably figure out what are some good Beatles songs. What is your favorite Beatles song? I used to be in a band briefly, and we covered one. Oh, it was a cool song. What was the Beatles song we covered? I can't remember. Anyway, Beatles are some great songwriters. So that's Rickenbacker. So they're the alternate one is a 12-string Rickenbacker. Okay, so here's the regular Rickenbacker. Here's the 12-string. Oh yeah. How do you just make up strings? Like, where does it come from? I don't know. Line 6 is crazy magic. Okay. Here comes the sun. Aaron Thompson, yes. Here comes the sun. Do 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 do. Okay. Yesterday. Yeah, that's a good one. What is the one we covered? It's been redone by like Aerosmith or somebody like that. I can't remember who redid it. Wow, it's windy outside. Do you guys hear that? I hear it. I hear wind rustling around. Okay. So that's the Rickenbacker stuff. Semi is probably it's got to be a 335. It's got to be what semi means. Yes, Gibson 335 or an Epiphone Casino. So, here's the Gibson 335 bridge with overdrive. Neck. Okay, here is the Epiphone Casino bridge. Epiphone, 335, Gibson. Okay, very cool. And then you've got Jazz Box, which is a Gibson ES-175. The Beatles song I'm talking about is Freebird. No, Freebird is not a Beatles song. Freebird is a song by Lynyrd Skynyrd. Freebird. Okay. Play Freebird. Is that what they say? Come together. Trey's right. Come together right now over me. Who redid that? Was it Aerosmith? I think Aerosmith did. Come together. That's the song. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is the acoustic stuff. So the thing is, you gotta not put it through a patch that's made for electric guitar. I'm gonna switch to my acoustic patch. And we gotta go over to different playlist. Sunday playlist, because I'm gonna use it Sunday. Okay, so now I'm running the acoustic model through my acoustic Helix patch. And here's the thing. When I first got this guitar, one of the reasons I actually talked to Line 6. They were kind enough to send this to me to demo. And I talked to one of the people from Line 6. By the way, they're super nice. And I said, he goes, "Hey, do you think the Variax is something that, players in churches and worship bands would like?" And I said, "Actually, yeah, because especially people who play acoustic and electric in the same set, it would if you can just push a button and have it switch, that would be killer." So one of the first things I tried after I listened to the Telecaster and thought, that sounds like a Telecaster, how crazy, is the acoustic models, and I wasn't that impressed at first, but I've kind of been playing around with them. So there's a few things about the acoustic. Every pickup position that you use changes the model of acoustic, and then the tone knob changes the mic placement. So you can switch them around, and you can get different sounds. So when you're on the bridge position, where I am now, you've got a Martin, or in the middle position, sorry. The middle position was the first one I tried. You've got a Martin Singolo, which is a really small-bodied acoustic 18. So it sounds like this. So that's the first one I heard. And I honestly... I got some spring reverb on, I'll turn it off. Honestly, I heard that and I was like, I'm not real into that sound. And then, but it just wasn't the acoustic sound that I like, really. So if you flip to the bridge position, you get the Martin D28. The D28 is like the standard Dreadnought acoustic. Check it out, it sounds like this. That sounds pretty good. The other thing is, I'm going to turn my Helix off. You're hearing the strings of the guitar, which is messing with probably what you're hearing. So what it actually sounds like through like a PA is going to be better than what you're hearing right now. But that's a good sound for, like, if you just needed it for a song or even like just your live sound, that sounds good. Like, I'm impressed. So, one thing about it though is it's weird. It's weird to play this guitar, which is like, it's like a really nice feeling playing electric guitar, and hear the acoustic sound out of it. Hey, Bradford's here with us. Bradford, we had a question just a few messages ago saying, are you and Bradford going to go live Friday? The answer is probably we are. We went live the other day too, and it was a lot of fun. So Bradford and I are probably going to be making some sweet patches going live. Who knows what we'll do? Maybe we'll go live and talk about this guitar some more, or talk about Bradford's guitar that he just got, the Sir Classic T. I think that's what it's called, Bradford. But anyway, this acoustic, if you just heard it without hearing this, it would be even better. Anyway, so that's the D28. If you flip it up, it's the Gibson J200, which is a jumbo guitar. And you can tell it's like a lot more bottom end. My favorite by far is this D28. Not bad. And you know, I haven't tweaked anything as far as EQ goes, so you could make it sound better. I haven't messed much with the mic placement. Let's do that. Then if you go the alternate models, they're 12-string guitars. So here's, oh, I didn't. There you go. Now here's a 12-string acoustic. Here's another 12-string acoustic. That's pretty cool. What are some classic 12-string acoustic songs? I know of some, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. Bradford says that acoustic sounds nice. Now, if Bradford says it, Bradford is what you could call a tone snob. He just knows what something good sounds like. So that's not bad, Bradford. I'm having a conversation with him here. That rivals the Graphtec Ghost system. I'm not familiar with that, but interesting. Aaron Thompson says, would I prefer this or a Telecaster for worship? Aaron, it just depends. Kind of what you're in the mood for. If you want like to change different sounds a lot, then this thing, man, this thing will do things that no other guitar can do. All right, let's play Free Fallin'. Whenever I think of 12 strings, I think Guns N' Roses. All we need is a little patience, yeah. Okay. What else does Guns N' Roses play a 12 string on? I don't know. I don't listen to Guns N' Roses. That's devil music. Isn't that song originally like in... I don't know where it is. I don't play much Tom Petty music. Anyway, so the other thing to look at this guitar for is what it can do with alternate tuning. So I'm going to go back to a not acoustic patch. Here's my Hillsong patch, and I'm going to go back to... let's just go to the Rickenbacker, the Gretch. Stairway. Stairway has Stairway to Heaven features a 12-string acoustic. I think that's true. It also features Jimmy Page, at least in the live videos, playing a double neck Gibson SG. So there's 12-string. Actually, Stairway is the 12-string electric guitar, not acoustic guitar. Sweet Child of Mine has 12-string acoustic in it. Probably. Who sings that, Bradford? Sweet Child of Mine. What kind of music are you listening to, Bradford? Okay, so let's talk about the tuning. So this knob changes tuning. So we're here listening to this Gretch. So this is standard tuning that I'm in now, and I'm gonna play a D chord just so I can demonstrate drop D. So listen to what this did to the E string. Drop D. Now the thing about what's gonna mess you up here on this is because again you're hearing the strings, the acoustic sound of the guitar in standard tuning, but you're going to be hearing the output of the guitar in not standard tuning, so it might be a little warbly. But I'll tell you this: there's no like weird artifacting going on when it does this stuff. It's crazy. Okay, so that's drop D. This is half step down. Crazy. Half step down, drop D. Whole step down. Trey says the tuning is by far the most useful feature. Yeah, it's the most impressive thing on it to me. That's a whole step down. This is Dadgad. Now, I'm not a alternate tuning player. So that's Dadgad. This is open D. This is Blues G. I have no idea what Blues G is. Just another open tuning. This is Reso G. Open A. So, and then baritone. It's like really low. Trying to play a little quieter so you don't hear the strings as much. So this is in baritone tuning. Compared to standard tuning, it's way up here. Crazy what it does. So the last thing to show you is, sorry, that was drop T. Last thing to show you now is the Reso models. So you've got like I don't even know how you would play these. So the Reso models, you've got a Resonator. Let's go back to the acoustic patch. It's probably where we need to go, right? So you've got the Resonator. So if Resonator's like a kind of specialized acoustic instrument. You've got a... Actually, no. That was wrong. Let me make sure I'm in the right position. This is the Resonator. This is a banjo. Yeah, I'm not a banjo player. I'm no Steve Martin on the banjo. So that's probably not what a banjo is supposed to sound like. Or not necessarily not sound like, it's not what it's supposed to be played like. Bradford says the Reso needs some slide. You are correct. Oh, the middle position in this is a Dan Electric. Oh, very cool. But I'm not in the patch for that. Okay. So then if you go to the bridge though, you've got like by far the most unique sound on this guitar in the alternate position, and that is the Sitar. don't know any Indian or like Eastern music, so I don't even know how to play in that style. But I mean, if you need a sitar for something, it has one. Anyway, that is pretty much it. That's all the features of the Variax. So I would like to do probably like a longer form review of this guitar with much better audio coming soon. But I just thought this thing is so cool. I just wanted to give you a view of it. So if you have any more questions, let me know. It's getting to be close to 5 o'clock here on the East Coast where I live. And I like live video, so I just thought it'd be fun to go live. Yeah. The sitar is a neat texture piece. Yeah, I would think, Trey, for like recording and production, this guitar would be really hard to beat if you did a lot of production work, if you did a lot of recording work, because you can get so many different sounds out of it. Now, I have guitars like the Shelton guitars that I have. There's one behind me. Those things, I mean, those things are crazy high end, but they also cost like 3 times more than this guitar. So as far as like feel and tone, it's tough to compare this guitar to like a like one of those Sheltons. It's tough to compare a $1,200 guitar that has all this stuff in it, that's what you're paying for, to a $3,000 or $2,500 guitar. Obviously, the one that costs 2 to 3 times as much is going to be better. But how much better is the question, and how much more, what kind of things do you need to do that this tool could accomplish for you would depend on if you would want to get it or not. And especially if you want to switch to an acoustic sound for a song or a part of a song. So the cool thing you can do with this guitar is if you have the special cable from line 6, you can make the Helix control it, or you can control the Helix with it. So you can make the, like, if you, for example, if you switch to the acoustic patch on the Helix, it could switch to the acoustic model on the guitar. So like for a part of a song, even like just for like if you have a bridge part where acoustic comes in, you could be playing electric, you could be the only player in the band, switch to acoustic for one part of a song, and then go back to electric and whatever rig you want for another part of the song. Like there's no other system that I can think of that lets you do that and lets it and sounds so convincingly good. So if that's something you want to do, you really can't beat one of these guitars. They make several models. This is the JTV-59. I assume the number 59 is references a 1959 Les Paul. It's a single cut, Les Paul style guitar. 59 is like the holy grail year for Les Pauls. They have a JTV-69 that's a bolt-on double cut Strat style guitar. It's got a humbucker in the bridge and 2 single coils. And a 5-way switch. I assume the number 69 is used for the year 1969 because that's when, Fender guitars are known to be really good. And then they have an 89, which is more of like a pointy metal guitar, maybe more of an 80s kind of, hard rock metal guitar. But they all have the same guts in them. They all do the same thing. Then there's one called the Shuriken, I think, which is more of like definitely a metal kind of a guitar. But check out that guy's demos. There's some the guy who designed that guitar, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, does some really cool demos on what you can do. So Line 6 makes a piece of software called Workbench. You can basically design your own guitar. You can put any pickup combination, and then you can save it to custom models and that kind of thing. So you can have like a ES335 with tele pickups in it if you wanted. And you can do specific tunings on the bridge, specific tunings on each individual string. You can turn strings on and off, that kind of thing. Yeah. So it does a lot of cool stuff. I'm seeing some chat here. I'm trying to keep up with the conversation. A money-making scheme just to get a piezo pickup and get a Boss acoustic simulator. I don't know. I don't think it does that much. So you can get a like a PRS makes guitars with piezo pickups in them, and so you can you could run those out. You could run that piezo into like the Helix, like on an acoustic pad, or just run it into a nice DI for acoustic. It's not gonna sound as good as this. Well, I don't know. It might sound as good. I've heard the piezo. What I think those PRS guitars do that's really cool is you can blend them, and so that piezo pickup will add like a certain amount of punch and attack to your electric guitar sound. Yeah, so those are cool guitars, and they're super high end, really nice guitars. But they're different than this. This is much different than just a piezo. That's what this guitar uses. There's piezo stuff, the pickup system in here, but then it does all the modeling in here somewhere before it sends it out. Okay, Justin says none of them model an Ibanez. That's a good point, Justin. Ibanez is, especially like the Steve Vai Ibanez models, you would think that they would model something like that. They're much more like classic. The models in here are like classic old guitars, but there's I would think a large demographic, a large number of people who would buy guitars who would want that sound. Darian says, I'd love to see what the Kemper would sound like with this guitar. I almost plugged it into a Kemper, actually, before I went live. I have a Kemper. Because it would sound, it'd sound like roughly the same, but it'd be interesting to see. Then you're going to get into Kemper versus Helix, which is not what this video is about. Yeah, so actually, Trey, if you use the Helix and the special cable, you can blend the mag. Actually, you can do it without the Helix and the special cable. So Trey's talking about blending the magnetic pickups and the modeling together. You can do that in Workbench. So you can save a preset to like your custom preset that has a little bit of both of them, blend it in the Workbench software, and it will just do it. You don't need the special cable and the Helix to do that. It's really cool. Actually sounds really nice. Aaron says, I want to learn how to do intonation on my guitar. Aaron, I have been planning, Bradford can attest to this if you're still watching, Brad. I have been planning a video for years almost on how to do a setup on your guitar, how to set your guitar up to play nice. And intonation would be a part of that. I just need to make it, I'm going to make it. One of these days, I pledge to you, Aaron Thompson. I'll make that video soon. All right. Bradford has a Kemper. Darian, I have a Kemper too. In fact, is it plugged in? I don't know if I can pull it all the way over here because it's plugged in. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Oh, man. I'm dropping all kinds of stuff. Sorry. Never mind all that. Here's my Kemper. And my voice just cracked. Here's my Kemper. Yeah. The Kemper's awesome, I will say. If you were to ask me to pick between the Kemper and the Helix, because I know that's what everyone wants to ask. That's what everybody asks that question. It depends. It depends on what you want to do. If you have a pedal board of pedals that you like and you don't want to stop using it, you should buy a Kemper. If you want an all-in-one unit that does everything with one thing, Helix is really hard to beat. So, Justin says, have I thought about getting my guitars true tempered? Is that where they do micro pitch adjustments on your frets? I have not. No. It is true, though, that no guitar is ever perfectly intonated. So, for example, if you don't know what intonation is, that means like that's an E. If you play it on the 12th fret, it's also an E. But you can change where the string is on the bridge here. You can change the saddle adjustment. So, because it might be open E, might be tuned E, but this might be a little sharp. So you can adjust that. But like up here, this is not a 24 fret guitar, it's 22. So that's not quite an E, that would be F. Anyway, no guitar is ever truly perfectly in tune, but you can buy guitars that have like micro adjustments on the frets that try to alleviate that. Anyway, Trey says the Kemper amps are better. Well, it just depends on the profile you get, too. But not as versatile as Helix. That's true. Yeah, I mean, that's debatable. But most people contend that the true amp sound from a Kemper, if you use a good profile, is better. Maybe. SS Sandman says, I'm surprised that they didn't do an SG. Yeah, that's true. Gibson SG, I'm surprised it's not in here. Because an SG has a very specific sound. It's a little thinner than a Les Paul. It cuts a little more. It has just a different. Yeah, I'm surprised. You're right. I'm very surprised they didn't do an SG. I'm surprised they left out an SG, and I'm surprised they left out some sort of like 80s metal, like an Ibanez. Somebody mentioned earlier Ibanez sound. What are the Ibanez guitars that Steve Vai endorses? The ones with the handle on them. Is that Ibanez? I'm pretty sure it's Ibanez. Yeah, I'm surprised they left that out too. Anyway. Darian says worship leader has to be the best job ever. I tell you what, Darian, if you working in full-time ministry, it is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun, and it's very rewarding. But man, if God is not calling you to that, it's not something that you should be doing, because it can be a pretty brutal job. Not necessarily worship leading, but just ministry, full-time ministry. It's a calling, definitely. Isn't there an 85 pickup model? You know what? There might be. I haven't looked. The Gem. Yes, Gem. Ibanez Gem. That's what it is. Man, I've never played one of those. I'd love to. I bet they have really like thin necks. Somebody asked me what the neck on this guitar is like. It's comfortable. It's like a C shape, It's not super thick, like a really thick Les Paul. It feels nice. So, kind of a medium C-shape neck. Feels good. Feels good. Jamie says, do I use hard cases or gig bags? Oh, for my acoustic guitar. I use the hard case that it came with for my acoustic. UPS guy just showed up at my house. I wonder what's coming. Eastman is going to be sending me a guitar soon, so to demo. I'm excited about that. I don't think that's probably not it. So anyway, I have an open window here and I can see right in front of my house. UPS man just pulled up. Anyway, I use a hard shell case for my acoustic. Now for my electric guitar, I have a mono bag. And if I had a mono bag for acoustic, I'd use it too. Mono bags are awesome. Bradford said, you're talking about, he said they're strange. I'm guessing you're talking about the neck on the Gem. Isaac Hernandez, PRS Silver Sky thoughts. I'd probably play one in a heartbeat. Look up, if you don't know who Tim Pierce is, Tim, his first name, Pierce, Pierce. Tim Pierce is a session player who lives in Los Angeles, and he's played on everybody's record. He's one of the most recorded guitar players of all time. Like, he's played on Michael Jackson records, all kinds of rock stuff through the 80s and 90s. He's like a genius on guitar, and he has a YouTube channel, Tim Pierce Guitar. It's really, really cool. He's just super professional. He recently did a shootout between the PRS Silver Sky and a legitimate 1963 Fender Strat. And the 63 Strat was in like perfect condition. One of his friends that owned a music store in LA brought it over. It was $20,000 Strat. So he did a A/B comparison between the two. You should watch it, and if you do, you might want to buy one of those PRS Silver Skies, because it sounded as good or better, in my opinion. And at the end of the video, he kind of sits there and he goes, well, you know what? I need them both. So I don't get the controversy on the Silver Sky. Like, it came out and everybody was like, how dare they do this to make a Strat? It's a Strat with a PRS headstock, which, kind of true. They did a lot of R&D on the pickups, I understand, to make them sound exactly like what he wanted. The neck feels exactly like what he wants. John Mayer, that is. And it's like, how many people... Well, the thing that is weird to me is Sur, the company, S-H-U-R, Sur Guitars. They make Strat Telecaster style guitars all day long, and they cost as much or more as a PRS Silver Sky, and everyone loves them. And then PRS makes a Strat style guitar, which is not the first time they've made one. And it's like there's so much controversy over it. So I'm sure it's a really good guitar. Anyway, I'll step down off my soapbox. I'm a big fan of PRS. I'm a big fan of Paul Reed Smith, like him, the man himself too. I think his story is really good. And I really do think he believes in, and not to say other guitar manufacturers or guys who run guitar companies don't, but Paul Reed Smith is just like, his life mission with his company is to make the greatest electric guitar or guitars and amps that you can buy. And I think they are some of the greatest you can buy. Okay. Jamie says, do I have the regular Anthem or the SL, LR Baggs Anthem in my acoustic? I have two. I have one in each acoustic guitar that I play, and they're both the full Anthem version. What about Paul Jackson Jr.? I don't know who Paul Jackson Jr. is. Okay. It looks like Bradford, Jonathan says, it looks like Bradford is grinding at the gym. Bradford is a combination of a few things. 1, genetics. 2, he goes to the gym a lot. 3, he looks buff. It's true. Bradford's got biceps that are like this big around or something crazy like that. Anyway. Brad, the people are impressed with your physique. Okay. I tell you what else is going on. Bryce, who's not been in a video in a long time, which is a shame. Bryce has been doing a lot of CrossFit lately. Man, that guy. You get Bradford and Bryce together and decide which one of them is stronger. Okay. Eric Johnson Strat. Was there a question about a Paul Jackson? I don't know who Paul Jackson is. Eric Johnson Strat is yeah. Eric Johnson Strat's pretty awesome. The Silver Sky is next. Worship Guitar Sound. Yes. I think the Silver Sky is I haven't played one, but I would only guess that it's an awesome guitar. Yeah. Any good recommendations for a cheap but good electric guitar? Dragon Ball Prince. This question gets asked almost every single time I go live. What's the best cheap guitar? There's a lot of options out there these days. I've always loved the Fender Mexican Strat or Telecaster. I'd go Telecaster over Strat if it's like your first one. And I would buy a used. You can get it for about $350. Other guitars to look at would be like a Squier Classic Vibe or a Squier Classic. Is it Vintage Vibe or Classic Player? Yeah. Those are great options too if you want Fender style guitars. If you want like a more of a Gibson style guitar, the PRS SE guitars are really good. I've owned a few of those. They're very good. Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff. Paul Jackson is another guy like Tim Pierce. He also recorded for Michael Jackson. I don't know of him. I'll check him out. Thanks for the heads up. Bob asked, how's Nick doing? Nick Rice, a.k.a. Rick Squire. Nick is doing good. So Nick got married and he moved out to the West Coast, Pacific Northwest for a little while. And he has a job. He just started a job recently, so he and his wife moved to Ohio, I believe. I miss Nick very much. I still talk to him all the time, keep in touch with him. Yeah, Nick is a good dude. Very talented, too. So he's doing video production work, too. So, yeah, it's something that he's wanted to do. Okay. Yeah, the Classic Vibe. Squier Classic Vibe are awesome, Worship Guitar Sound says. I've played a few. They're really well built. What I would do personally is buy one of those, and then if you want to, put better pickups in them. Yeah. Which is better, multiple processor or effect pedal for worship? Bishop DeBarma, did I say that right? I'm a huge fan of the Line 6 Helix. You should buy one. Didn't mention a Gretch Projet. Oh, the Projet, and I actually have one. You probably can't see it. It's right back there. I have a Projet. I got it on Craigslist for $200. I couldn't believe it. It is a great guitar. Gretch Projet is a great guitar. Yeah, it sounds very good. Yeah, okay. I would recommend a Projet. Any other questions that you'd like me to answer? Please ask. There is a little bit of a delay between what I'm saying and what you see. So I'll say any questions, and then about 20 seconds later you'll see it. So I will have to sign off and leave here pretty soon. But But I've been wanting to do more live videos, so this is fun. Stephen Shirley says his main worship rig is a JTV-59, which is what this is. It's one of these. With the Tele model and a Nashville Tele with the Helix. So you're saying you use the Tele model in the JTV-59, or you have a Nashville Tele, or both. Maybe you have a Nashville Tele and you use the Tele in here. Which one do you like better, if that's the case? Darian Halliday says he uses his Fender straight up, no effects. He's old school, man. No effects. Old school. Bradford says, can we have cheeseburgers on Friday? That's his question. See, that's how long the delay is, Bradford. It's a little bit of a delay. So I'm guessing you asked that as soon as I said, are there any other questions? Of course we can have cheeseburgers on Friday, Bradford. What are you talking about? Maybe we should go live on YouTube. That's what we should do. We should go live to YouTube over cheeseburgers. If you want to see that, you let me know, and Bradford and I will do it. Jonathan says he's got to go Team Bradford on what? Are Bradford and I like having some sort of a cheeseburger competition? Because, yeah, I can't keep up, man. Bradford, he's got to fuel all that muscle mass somehow. And somebody asked earlier if I used to work out, or if I work out. So if you saw my silhouette, you would know that I don't know. You would assume that I don't work out currently, and that's true. But I used to. I used to work out a lot because I actually played football in college. I was a middle linebacker in college. And so this was so long ago. So I'm 38 years old. So this is literally 20 years ago. So yeah, football was a big deal. I grew up in Oklahoma. Football is a huge deal in Oklahoma. Went to college and played football. I used to be in pretty good shape. You kind of have to be if you're going to play football. And I was on scholarship and stuff. So you have to be if you're going to do that. So I used to be much more fit. I used to be strong. But I've lost it all. It is a goal of mine in life to get healthy once more. I've actually thought about doing... let me know how you would receive this. I used to... I have wanted for some time to do like a series on worship tutorials because I believe that the Bible's pretty clear about how we are to treat our bodies. And so... And if we don't treat our bodies well, Boomer Sooner, Bernard Garcia, I'm a Sooners fan. And if we don't treat our bodies well, we're, in violation of that teaching in the Bible. And so I have for a long time wanted to do a series on YouTube where I would just ask you to come along with me. If you want to get healthy in your life, if that's a goal that you have to be fit, maybe it's something that you've kind of let slide like I have. We're going to do it together and encourage each other, and I thought I'd do weekly updates and set some goals and talk about how I was doing. I've just never got around to it. And to be perfectly honest with you, a moment of clarity of telling you how I really feel, I'm afraid to do it because I'm afraid that I'll start it and make a couple videos and then stop and fail, basically. And then if I failed it, if I started and then failed, it would be failing pretty publicly because, obviously I would keep making videos, and if I didn't get any, if I didn't shrink in size a little bit, then people would know, well, obviously he didn't keep up with that. So anyway, if that's something you'd like to do with me, let me know. Maybe we'll just get it going. Best way to start is just to start. Okay. I cannot play the Hotel California intro. I'm sorry, I don't know it. But I do need to leave pretty soon, so I'll probably sign off here on YouTube Live. Get fit like Bradford. Make working out great again on a red hat. Okay. Austin White says, how long have you been a worship leader? How long have you been playing guitar? Well, Austin, no, Bradford, you can have a cheeseburger on Friday, but I'll have the salad. That's what we did on Monday, remember? I got a salad with grilled chicken. It was good. So how long have I been a worship leader? I have been a worship leader. I've done it ever since high school. So I'm 38 years old, and I started playing guitar when I was 15. So that means 23 years that I've playing guitar. And I actually helped lead worship in high school. Yeah, I started leading worship in high school too. Now, I didn't lead worship all the time between when I was in high school and now. But I've been leading worship for a couple decades probably, on and off. Maybe a decade and a half. Bob says, I like that name. In one of our videos, we said the Duesenberg that we have was like $500, and I can't find any Duesenberg for under $2,000. It's because there aren't any Duesenbergs for under $2,000. I don't know where you would. Maybe Bradford talked about how we might have talked about how Duesenberg used to have a budget line of guitars like years and years ago. They don't make them anymore, and I don't know that you can find them anymore. But yeah, if you're going to buy a Duesenberg, be prepared to spend a couple $1,000s for a used one. But I will say this, if that's what they're worth it. They're good. They're awesome guitars. Ex-Apache says, how did I meet God? My testimony. The very, very short version is I grew up in a Christian home. My mother and father are strong Christians, and I grew up in a church that was just an awesome church to grow up in. I grew up in a really small town. Grew up in a town of about 2,500 people in northwest Oklahoma. And so, everyone's real close-knit. Everyone is close-knit there. And in my church especially, it was a church of maybe 200 or 300 people. And, I had a lot of people who really poured into my life at a young age. And I was baptized. I accepted Christ when I was young. And I was baptized like as an 8-year-old, I think. I remember it to this day, being baptized. One of the things I remember about being baptized was I remember I had a leather belt. And, you can't get leather wet. And so my mom told me that she said, Brian, now make sure before you go into the baptismal that you take your belt off so you'll ruin it. And so I was so nervous when I was baptized. This was so many years ago. This is like literally 30 plus years ago. And so I remember standing in the line, walking up to the steps, going down. I remember the pastor. His name was Ernie Friesen. Bless his heart. I doubt he's still living because he was probably in his 60s then. So if he is alive still, he'd be like in his 90s. I think he's passed away. But Ernie Friesen, he asked me the questions, do you believe that you have, whatever, I forget exactly what he asked me, but do you profess faith in Jesus Christ, that he died for your sins and because of that, and rose again, and because of that you have life in him? And I said yes. And I remember going down, coming up, everyone cheered in the church, and I came up, and then I looked down, and I still had my leather belt on, and I thought, oh no, my mom is going to be so mad at me because I left my leather belt on and I got ruined. And I told her, and I remember apologizing to her for it. And she said, oh, it's okay, you don't need to worry, we'll get you another one. But I don't know, that was a weird memory. But yeah, so I grew up in a church, and I was really involved, like as a junior high school student, I was very involved in my youth group and in camps and stuff. I actually went to school, to college, where I played football in Kansas. I went to college. It was a Christian school, and I studied youth ministry for a little bit. That was what I wanted to do. Ended up going into science, so I have a chemistry and biology degree, and I worked in science for a while. And then Isaac wants cheeseburgers. You can have a cheeseburger anytime, man. And I ended up coming back and working in ministry full time. So yeah, I've never really strayed away from my faith. I've always had people in my life, and I thank God for that. I've had people in my life who have always, who have always been close to God, who have helped me stay close to God as well. I think that's important. Okay. Aurelio Medina says, can you make a video on how to switch notes last minute when the singer can't sing certain types of notes? I assume, do you mean sing an alternate melody, or do you mean how do you switch keys in a song at the last minute? So the ultimate answer to this question is, whoever is singing your songs, you should make sure that you have them in keys that they can sing comfortably. So that's the question. That's the answer to that question. Because doing anything else, coming up with an alternate melody, is not a good idea. Changing the key of the song at the last minute is a terrible idea, although sometimes you have to do it. We should get you a new leather belt. I have since purchased more than a couple belts in my life since I was like 8 years old. Man, that is such a vivid memory for me. That's interesting. I haven't really thought about it a lot in a long time, but yeah. I don't know. I can still remember it. It's interesting when you're. I have a son who's 5. He's turning 5 tomorrow. Is his birthday, and I often wonder, like, what will his memory when he grows up? What will his memories be from when he was young? I don't know that I have really many memories from being 5 years old. But anyway, some people do, some people don't. It just depends on things that happen in your life. So there are things that have happened in his life that I would assume he'll probably remember. But Caleb Bird, hey Caleb, what's up? What campus does Bradford play? Bradford plays at our North Durham campus. It's actually a portable campus, meaning they set up every weekend in a gym in a school. How did I learn to sing? Is it all about staying in a key that's close to your voice? Aaron Thompson says. The next person actually says recommendations for getting better. So I've taken voice lessons before, voice coaching. I recommend that because one thing that I learned was that I have improper technique. So I'm going to take these headphones out because I'm not going to play any more guitar, so I don't need to hear it. I learned some poor techniques as far as breathing and projecting my voice, and so vocal lessons really helped with that. And then, yes, it is important that you choose songs that are in keys, that when you lead a song, this is actually a pretty controversial topic. How do you pick a key? Do you pick a key that fits a congregation, or do you pick a key that fits the singer that's leading the song? And I almost always gravitate toward the singer because it's important that they can sing a song well. And your congregation is filled with people who have ranges that are all across the map. So there is not really a key that everybody can sing well. There's just not. There are keys that, like most of your male people in your congregations, you can make a song where it's high, so high that most of them can't sing it very easily, or so low that they can't sing it comfortably. Same for female. But I also do think it's important for people to sing songs in keys that fit their voice. Like, I'm not going to sing a song in a key that requires me to sing a note that's out of my range. That's just not wise. So, but practicing a lot. I found whoever it was that asked about how to get better at singing, Tyler Craig, how do you improve? One thing that I have found in my life that has really helped me improve as a vocalist, as a player, everything is recording. So I've got into recording a long time ago when I was in college, which was in the late 90s. So digital recording is just kind of becoming a thing. And that's when I got into it. And over the years, I've always done it, whether it's just I write a song and record it, or I record, obviously for worship tutorials for the last 10 years or so, I've recorded a lot of worship songs. But that, because you record a vocal and then you listen to it and you analyze it and you say, how good is my pitch? How am I missing it? That really has helped me. And it's the same for guitar parts too, because once you record something and listen back, it does not lie. So, yeah. Alan says, how do you audition people? Alan, Fuller and I did a Worship Leader Wednesday video series where we talked about auditions. So check that out on the channel. There's 2 videos in it. Stenny says, I literally just got this yesterday. Are you talking about this guitar? We haven't talked about this guitar in a long... it's been a little while in this stream since we talked about in the live video, but that's why I made this thing. Got this guitar. It's a cool guitar. It's really... This whole bridge system, I mean, you can't put a different bridge in here because that's where all the... I assume you can't. So that's where all the piezo stuff is. But it's super high quality, high-end stuff. I mean, this is really nice. This is one of the nicer bridges, as far as just hardware, one of the nicer bridges on a guitar that I've played ever. I'm impressed. Okay? So Rhett says, it's hard to find the right key between a male vocalist and 3 lady singers. Well, that's because your male and female vocalists, the ranges are completely different. So for... if your male vocalist is leading the song, the key should be what fits his voice. And then the female vocalist would need to pick harmonies to sing that are, on top of or below the main melody of the song. That's a tip. That's kind of what we do at our church. We pick a key more for the vocalist rather than the congregation, because you can't really pick a key that fits a whole congregation. So I actually just talked about that a few minutes ago. Justin says we should do more live stuff in the future. I'm planning on it. I really like live video. The thing I love about it is this interaction between us. When Brad and I went live on Monday after Easter, Brad had the day off from church, so he came over here and we went live. And man, there was a ton of spam. Really hateful, abusive, evil kind of commenting and stuff. YouTube caught most of it, but man, it was annoying. I haven't experienced it here today, so who knows? Maybe YouTube is getting better at it. Anna says, advanced happy birthday for my son. His name is Seth. Thank you, Anna. He's our only child, and so we're gonna be only child parents. We're not planning to have another. So, and Anna, for a while, he was the only grandchild on either side. So he got pretty. The kid does not lack toys. I will say that. And I need to go pick him up from daycare here in like 10 minutes. So I'm gonna have to leave soon. But my brother actually just had a baby. I have a younger brother, and he just had a baby. So there's one other grandchild in the mix now. But boy, Seth, he still gets a lot of love. Okay. All right. So I think Stenny says, what are your favorite strings? I like Elixir strings. I actually have some right here. These are the strings that I use for electric guitar. They're Nano Web. I like the Nano Web. No, wait. I like the Nano Web for electric, and I like the Poly Web for acoustic. I'm not too picky, though. I like the 80-20 on the acoustic, but different strings like Phosphor Bronze, 80-20, they all have like different sound to them, so you should really... I always think it's good to buy... And they'll sound different in different guitars, too, so just experiment. But I like Elixir strings. They've always felt the best and sounded and lasted longest for me, so... Okay. Aaron says, Aaron, that's 5 times. Aaron, 6 times. I've mentioned Aaron's name now 7 times during this stream, and his worship leader said that assuming Aaron that it's a male name, because Aaron is one of those names. I know males and females both named Aaron, but usually if it's a female named Aaron, it's spelled E-R-I-N. So I assume you're a dude, Aaron. Said that their worship leader is freaking out because she keeps hearing his name or her name. Aaron, I apologize. This is just getting awkward now, Aaron. I'm sorry. Okay, you don't have to correct me. All right. Okay. What? Bob asks a good question here. At our church, we have analog soundboards and stage monitors. Okay. Would you buy in-ears or a digital board first? That is a good question. So, I would do the board is going to make the biggest overall difference in your sound. And I recommend, I like the, Aaron says, I am indeed a dude. Okay. We've cleared that up now. Okay, so Bob was talking about boards, soundboards. We use the Behringer X32 digital boards at our campuses. Some campuses have upgraded to the Midas M32, which is pretty much the same thing, but just a little more robust. I think that's going to be your biggest, if you're going to spend... Those are about $3,000 for the Behringer, or $4,000 or $5,000 for the Midas. The Midas are a little better, but the Behringer are great. That's going to make a huge difference in your sound. So I would recommend that first. And then once you do that, you can do in-ears pretty cheap if you have that board. Because you can just you can buy a cable and run the aux out for each mix into a... Bradford has the M32. Yeah, that's what they have, the M32 at the Garner campus where I am, but not at the Coffee House campus or maybe they do now. I don't know. Where I also lead often. So then you can just buy a stereo cable and run it, or just even a mono, to the to a headphone amp, and then just run a headphone cord and go in-ears. And it's a lot cheaper. So the in-ear cost is a lot less than the board, I'll say that. Okay. All right. It's a little after 5:30, so I'm going to sign off. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Worst Tutorials Live. This has been a first look at the Line 6 JTV-59 Variax, James Tyler Variax. Very cool guitar. I'll be doing, like I said, a bigger review later, but look for more live stuff. We need like a schedule. Bradford, we need to come up with a schedule, you and I together. We can do a live show. I think that's what we should do. Anyway, let me see here if there are any other quick questions. The Sunday vlogs are encouraging, Bob says. I really want the Sunday vlogs to come back. So we'll see what we can do there. All right. See you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.